Hello, I am Moore. Nice to meet you. Um, Today, I want to invite you to have a thought with yourself. How much do you feel like you, on a daily basis, think about, things like your exterior appearance, how you show up in the world? How much are you thinking about? How much do you feel like you're having social anxiety because of, maybe the way you might look or uh, just the way you might feel about yourself? Do you feel bad about yourself? Do you compare yourself? Do you have these feelings of inadequacy? And the answer to that is yes. Then I am here to offer a solution, or I am here to offer, some aid, if I might. And that aid is changing in perspective and perception of your life, um, and perception of the way that you ultimately view the world. Uh, I feel like the reason that you may worry about all of these things is because you have been caught into the Western trap, which, if I live in the Western world, you live in the Western world, I'm assuming, and if you're not, you know, you might feel differently, but if you grow up in the Western world, then you know that it's really hustle and bustle, you know, get up and grind. And if you're not doing that, then you're probably somewhat akin to a failure in your head and the people around your head. If you're very like, laid back or more like, you're not really about the hustle and bustle, you kind of get labeled something negative. And I think the reason for this is, that could be a whole different video. But I guess here what I'm trying to focus on here is the how to aid with the feeling of being overwhelmed by all that. Because I feel like we have a lot of responsibilities here in the Western world, and I feel like that are directly opposed to living a life of, divinity and sacredness of the self looking inward, which I guess I spoiled it, which is the shift. So I feel like a lot of this world profits off of us looking external, looking at things around us, looking at how we compare to not only our environment, but we even made it to where God is separate from us. So now God is something to either aspire to, worship, fear, a plethora of things. Once something is outside of you, it's it's a plethora of things to do to it, right? Now, there's my cat was tripping for a little bit, but there's a lot of ways to look at this. There's a lot of ways. There's a lot of full circle moments and full circle ideas that will help you better understand um, my reasoning and my point here. Well, really, the fact is that there is no reasoning. What I offer you is a moment to. How about this? Please stop. Let's stop for a second. I already just pause the video. Take. I'm gonna do it too with you, but if you need more time, if you want to do it right now, listen to me. We're gonna take just 30 seconds. 30 seconds of the white noise in the background, whatever noise, it's okay. The purpose of this is to just get you accustomed to the feeling of looking inward and looking at self and being aware of what's around you. So let's do that. 30 seconds starting now. Okay, now, if that was hard for you, or if, that was a challenge for you, it's okay. I urge you to try it again, or however long, it took you, it's okay. But that silence there, that silence of self, notice how there was hopefully, no thoughts of, you know, who, what, when, where, how do I compare? How does this compare? What does this look like? Is there winners or losers? Is good? Is this bad or good? How will this be perceived? Hopefully, there was no thoughts of those type of thoughts. And this is the goal. That's the goal. That silence is the goal that you want to try to embody in your walking day-to-day life. But that is achieved through things like, what we just did, through meditation, through, intentional grounding, intentional work, shadow work, that's a whole different, once again, I hate to just throw that out there, but that is an essential aspect to going deeper and knowing yourself. And the reason for this is because, like I said, Babylon, or the Western world or the outside world, is so absorbed in this idea of go, 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 go. Rush, 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 rush. You need to have more than him. Competition is at the root, a fundamental nature, a fundamental aspect of our Western world, of our, capitalistic world. And I feel like comparison, by nature of competition, is a part of that as well. And when, there's comparison and competition, there comes desire. And as we know from Eastern philosophy, desire comes suffering. Once you want something outside of yourself, you lost. You feel me? Once you want something outside of yourself, you lost. I'll repeat that. Once you want something outside of yourself, you've lost. Understand me? Because that's hogwash. That's flabbernogging. Like, how are you going to desire something outside of yourself, and why desire something outside of yourself when all you ultimately have, and the most connection, and the deepest connection, and the most ease of access, and all that? I guess let me just cut to the chase. That is you. That is yours. You know what's so funny? This reminds me of that. This reminds me of that Kyrie clip where Kyrie was talking to Katie on Instagram Live, and he was like,
about how I feel as a post-up guard. In my past life, like I said, I was you. I was you. What you are now, that's what I'm up here. Same mentality. I'm getting to a spot. I'm raising up. I'm getting to a bucket. My footwork is impeccable. I have length. I'm able to shoot over the top, hold the follow through, and I don't see people. Do you not
reflect inwards? Whatever is in will reflect out. How you feel within will reflect outwards. And that's why, once again, it's so important to cycle back within. The reason why I wanted to do this video this way is because I wanted to kind of get you guys in that headspace of understanding it in different scenarios and different ways. So, like, for example, like, here in the Western world, there's this idea of, like, there's a lot of ideas of a lot of things. That's the problem. I'll just put it like that. Like, I guess I'll use a quote, one of the most essential quotes to Eastern philosophy, which I believe is. Let me just look it up. Because I know it, but I'm trying to find it, man. Oh no, not a philosophy. Why are they showing me not the? I think as for I am. Let me go to the book I was reading. Anyway, I can't think of it, but it goes something like, I am therefore not. It has nothing to do with. Yeah, it just says I am, therefore I am. I think that's something along the lines of that. I am, so I am, which is essentially saying that like existence, experience is the only truth. Existence experience is the only truth. I guess now want to share some quotes that I have from this book that I've been reading called The Eye of Shiva. I highly recommend it. It is by Amory D. Renkart. I hope I pronounced that correctly. In context to what we're talking about, this book is significant because it talks a lot about the contrast in between East, West, science, magic, religion. You know, it goes deep. This quote really strikes because this is what I mean by like why it's useless to think so hard about these things. It goes. It never occurred to Greek idealism, naivety, that the human mind's limitation could restrict it to mere appearances. It assumed uncritically that the rational mind could cognize the whole reality. That this reality was the external world of physical phenomena along the discursive thinking that comprehends it. Essentially, let me read that again because I kind of messed up. It never occurred to Greek idealism's naivete that the human mind's limitations could restrict it to mere appearances. It assumed uncritically that the rational mind could cognize the whole reality that is reality, was the external world of physical phenomena along with discursive thinking that comprehends it. So to decompress that and to summarize that, essentially is saying that the Greeks who had originated Western thought started off wrong in the beginning by even trying to think themselves into understanding physical phenomena in the outside world. They were already in a losing battle once they started trying to rationalize and use their cognition to understand the reality, when in reality through experience and just happenstance you understand reality, is what this quote I feel like was trying to say. That these books use very grandiose language, so you have to like read it back a couple times. I'm a little confused now because I'm looking for another quote. But I keep clicking on the same one. Okay, I'm gonna share this quote. This is the last quote, and this is what I'm gonna leave it off with. That's what I'm gonna leave you off with. This is a thought. For Eastern philosophy, the prime goal of Eastern philosophy. This is what I'm a completely screw this name up, but Sri Ramakrishna give us a pungent pictorial image of the problem as seen from the Eastern standpoint. Think of a vast ocean filled with water on all sides. A jar is immersed in it, right? There is water on both inside the jar, so inside the jar, the closed jar has water inside, and there's both water outside the jar. But the water does not become one unless the jar is broken. What is the jar? It is I consciousness, ego. When the I disappears, what is remains. So I'm gonna just, break that down a little bit for y'all. So what they're saying here is, I hope you get the analogy in the picture. The goal for us is to dissolute the I consciousness, the ego, the I, the comparing mind is in fact the jar that we contain ourselves in. Right? When in fact, this is what I was trying to say earlier, we are all. Break that jar, and you will no longer be envious of anything. You will no longer feel like you want to be anything other than yourself. You will never feel like you want to be anything other but purely you and what you've been given to express through Brahman to Atman to you. Okay, I love you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. I'll see you in the next video. Okay? Peace.